tight win for Ireland last weekend, Matt. What did you make of the performance?
Very lucky to win, or Scotland were unlucky to lose. Stuart Hogg dropping the ball over the line, and probably that intercept from Conway in the second half saved Ireland. Wasn't a disastrous performance, but it was surprising because, we thought physically Ireland would dominate Scotland, but that wasn't the case. The Scots really came out to their credit and gave it to Ireland, and certainly Cian Hooley was very uncomfortable in the scrum, but the Scots were very inaccurate in Ireland's 22, and that proved to be the difference. Ireland got up there, didn't get to the Scots 22 very often. But it was a beautiful try from Johnny Sexton, well-created try. But in the end, the better team lost. So that's certainly not what any of us thought would occur.
Outside of that well-worked try from Johnny Sexton, what did you make of Ireland's attack?
It was mixed, to be honest. Their maul didn't work until Dev Toner came on, which is a worry. When Dev came on, the maul was absolutely sensational and went forward, but they couldn't maul any ball. The box kicking from Connor was inaccurate at times, not all the time, but inaccurate, and we almost had no tactical kicking from Johnny Sexton. So it was up to the running game. Got around them once or twice. Lama's a weapon. He came around the corner once. But when they're trying to go from one side of the field to the other with two passes, that's when they're really struggling. The runs off Lama are coming off Sexton when he comes around the corner. But when they're on the left side, 15 or 20 metres in, they want to go right, they're not getting that second pass in to get around. As a rule, once or twice they did. And that's because I think Bundyaki is a really good runner of the ball. He made a great break during the game, but he's not a second 5'8", meaning that he's not a fine player. He's not in his skills as a passer. He's more a runner. And you really need another passer in that group. It's not disastrous. I can see what they're trying to do, and that's a positive thing. But they probably need to hone their passing skills to be able to get those number of passes in to get around the defence, to get outside that rushing defence. And the Welsh defence will be coming up, I think, much quicker and more effectively than the Scots did last week. Jordan Lama ran the ball back very, very well. He didn't look to kick, but he didn't link, and that's because the wingers were being a bit lazy. They didn't get back with him. I'd like to see Lama catch the ball, run, pass and support. When he gets that pass back, he's very dangerous. So some good, a lot of mediocre. So in the end, it was a 40% good, 60% not as good sort of game.
Scotland got on the outside of Ireland a number of times. Do you think that's something that Wales will do tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Wales will try it. It was a tough one for Robbie Henshaw coming in at 13 at half-time because he's played 12 exclusively all year. Gary Ringrose is an excellent defender at 13, and 13 defending is the hardest in the field because you've got to slide out. There's a time where you leave your man and go to the next man, and that's all about rooting. Driscoll did it brilliantly, one of the greatest I've ever seen with Jason Little, the great Australian outside centre. But Robbie got caught a few times. He's a great tackler, but I think he'll be better for that experience this week and when to leave his man and when to go and getting that combination with Bundyaki going again. It's been a while since they played there. So they'll be challenged because the Welsh passing last week against Wales was absolutely superb. Conditions may play a big part in this. The forecast is the big storms coming in around the match time. If that does, there won't be anyone passing, It'll change the complete complexities of the game. But if it's still enough, Wales are going to really have a crack in that last 5, 10, 15 metres.
You mentioned Robbie Henshaw. He comes in, starts at 13 against Nick Tompkins, who makes his Wales starting debut. Yeah. That's an exciting battle, isn't it?
It is. And he's got some pretty decent back wingers outside him. He's played quite well when he's had his opportunities at Saracens. So Robbie will have to be on his toes there, as will Jordan Lama and the wingers, because they're going to be a threat out wide. I think the biggest improvement I've seen from Wales since the arrival of Puvac as coach was the quality of their passing. It was flat, It was fast. It was accurate, right in front of the players. None behind, so they had to slow down. The passes were right there, so they moved on to it. They'll be, if they can get the quality there tomorrow, Robbie will have some decisions to make. We got Lee Halfpenny and George North, or do I stay on my man? They're big decisions, and that he'll be challenged.
Danger man for Wales seems to be Josh Adams after his hat trick last weekend. How do you stop him?
Well, I think we've got to take a little bit of granted. So I thought he played very well. I thought Wales played exceptionally well. I'm not taking anything away from the Welsh performance, and I thought Adams was superb. His opening try, it was a great winger's try. Stayed in field, got the ball in the right hand, got it down, didn't get pushed into touch. We've got to take a little grain of salt with that, in that the Italians were really poor, really, really poor out wide. The defence from the Italian outside centres and wingers on some of those plays was horrendous. If your under 12s were defending like that, you'd be very disappointed. You'd be bringing them in saying, "Listen, mate, this is what you've got to do." Like the opening try, the winger, I don't know, he defended Peter Brady, the invisible man. There was no one. Who was he defending? He just stood like a rabbit in the headlights. So we do have to keep that in the back of our minds, that it was exceptionally poor defence. But again, Wales will challenge us. And Ireland were a bit narrow. They left some space on the outside. As you said, the Scots got around us. The biggest thing with our D was we're not aggressive all the time off the line. Sometimes we are, but a lot of times we aren't. The last few minutes of the match, when Scotland had to score, they carried the ball 65 metres. And that's a worry. We didn't get off the line to stop them in front, to really challenge their passes. We allowed them to get 3 and 4 passes in. You let Wales do that, and they're a lot stronger than the Scots doing it, attacking the ball. Again, the conditions might help Ireland. I don't know if they're going to get 3 or 4 passes in tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. Either way, even if they don't, off the boot, and Dan Biggar's boot is a really well-educated one, and he's improved a lot as a 10. Either way, maul, kick or run, Wales will pose some real threats.
And finally, what is your prediction for tomorrow?
Oh, wow. It's just like this whole Six Nations. There's just so many unknowns. The bottom line, I think, is if Ireland don't show a significant improvement from last week, they'll lose. But Ireland are capable of significant improvement. They need to improve. Their aggression needs to come up a number of levels. How Scotland could come out in the first game of the championship, new coach at home, and be more aggressive and more dominant up front was really a problem for Ireland. And it's a deep worry, a deep concern. So Ireland have a lot of work to do. If they don't improve, Wales will win the game. If the conditions don't come down, Wales could win with a bonus point. I think it'll be close because of the conditions. But right now, I just say the unknowns on the Irish performance make it really, really difficult to pick Ireland.